The month of September might just be the most critical turning point for Pi Network's Pi price in 2025. Some say this could be the start of a long-awaited rally that finally puts Pi back on the map, while others warn of a brutal correction that could drag prices to new lows. The buzz around Pi is louder than ever, and with millions of tokens about to flood the market, the stakes couldn't be higher. So, is September the month Pi explodes, or implodes? Let's dig into what 3 of the world's most advanced ICE are predicting and why you need to pay attention right now. The state of Pi Network today. At the time of making this video, Pi Network's native token sits around 35 cents, climbing about 3% in the past 24 hours according to CoinGecko. On paper, that looks like a healthy move, but in reality, it's a far cry from the $1 plus levels many in the Pi community are dreaming about. The key issue is momentum. Yes, Pi is moving in sync with the broader crypto market revival, but it hasn't yet broken out of its stubborn range. That's why this month could be a make or break moment for Pi holders. With token unlocks looming and exchange inflows at record highs, the pressure is mounting on both buyers and sellers. When asked about Pi Network's potential for September, ChatGPT provided a balanced yet cautious outlook. On the bullish side, it highlighted that ongoing ecosystem developments, steady community growth, and the broader crypto market's recovery could serve as positive catalysts. These factors, if aligned with favorable sentiment, might drive Pi toward 47 cents. While this would not constitute a full-scale breakout, it would still represent a meaningful show of momentum for the project, signaling growing confidence among its holders and traders. However, the forecast did not ignore the risks lurking beneath the surface. ChatGPT stressed that if Pi fails to defend its critical support level at 34 cents, the asset could be exposed to a steep correction, with potential downside targets as low as 30 cents, or even further if market sentiment turns sour. The most pressing bearish factor lies in token unlocks. Over 130 million Pi tokens are set to be released into circulation within the next 30 days, including a significant 13.2 million scheduled for September 21st. This is a critical event for Pi's market dynamics. Every unlock represents fresh supply entering the market, and holders who have been locked out for months or even years will finally get their chance to sell. The problem is clear. If demand does not rise in tandem with this surge in supply, the selling pressure could quickly overwhelm the market. Traders and investors are aware of this, and such events often trigger short-term volatility. In essence, ChatGPT's projection paints a double-edged scenario, one where Pi could capitalize on growth and market recovery to push higher, but also one where token unlocks and supply shocks could drag prices down. September, therefore, emerges as a make-or-break month for Pi Network, with 34 cents acting as the critical line in the sand. Grok, the AI chatbot integrated into Elon Musk's X platform, offered a far more upbeat forecast for Pi Network this month. Unlike the cautious tone of other predictions, Grok emphasized the potential for renewed momentum, pointing to a combination of fundamental upgrades, community strength, and external events that could spark a bullish rally. If these factors align, it believes Pi could realistically climb toward 50 cents by the end of September, an impressive rebound considering the project's recent price pressures. One of the strongest drivers in Grok's outlook is the possibility of protocol upgrades. Any technical improvements or feature rollouts by the Pi Network team would not only enhance the ecosystem but also restore confidence among investors who have been waiting for meaningful progress. In the crypto world, upgrades often serve as short-term catalysts, creating excitement and speculation that directly impact price action. Grok also highlighted the sheer scale of Pi's community as a key pillar of support. With millions of active users worldwide, Pi's success depends heavily on continued engagement and onboarding. If daily activity rises, even modestly, the resulting increase in demand can push prices higher. A vibrant, active user base is one of Pi's strongest assets, and Grok sees this as an ongoing bullish force that shouldn't be underestimated. Perhaps the biggest hype generator on the horizon is Token 2049, one of the largest and most influential conferences in the crypto calendar. Scheduled for October in Singapore, it will feature Pi Network co-founder Dr. Chengdiao Fan as a speaker. While the keynote itself is still weeks away, anticipation leading into September could fuel speculative buying as traders position themselves ahead of potential announcements. Events like Token 2049 often act as powerful magnets for attention and liquidity, amplifying hype across social channels and markets. Taken together, these bullish elements form the backbone of Grok's optimistic forecast. While it acknowledges that a $1 breakout may remain out of reach for now, pushing to 50 cents would still mark a strong recovery for Pi. For investors and community members who have endured months of uncertainty, even this modest rebound would represent a meaningful step toward restoring faith in Pi's long-term vision. Perplexity AI came in with one of the bolder takes on Pi Network's September outlook, offering a forecast that spans from conservative stability to ambitious gains. On the cautious side, Perplexity projected that Pi could climb to 42 cents, a level that would simply reflect steady growth in line with the broader crypto market recovery. This scenario assumes gradual improvement without any extraordinary catalysts, essentially portraying Pi as moving in step with the overall momentum of digital assets. But where Perplexity caught attention was in its more aggressive outlook. Under what it described as ideal circumstances, Pi could surge as high as 75 cents before the end of the month. Such a move would require a near-perfect alignment of factors: a wave of positive announcements, sustained demand from Pi's massive community, and strong bullish sentiment across the entire crypto market. In other words, it would take a confluence of hype and fundamentals, something not impossible in crypto, but certainly rare. Still, Perplexity remained realistic about the limits of September's rally. The much-discussed $1 target, often seen as Pi's next symbolic milestone, still looks out of reach in the short term. To hit that level, Pi would need massive catalysts beyond community speculation, such as major exchange listings, widespread adoption of its ecosystem applications, or even sudden interest from institutional investors. Without these transformative drivers, $1 remains a longer-term ambition rather than a September reality. By framing its forecast with both conservative and bold possibilities, Perplexity highlights the dual nature of Pi's journey. A project capable of surprising to the upside under the right conditions, but still constrained by the practical realities of token unlocks, adoption pace, and exchange accessibility. For now, 42 cents to 75 cents stands as a wide but telling range, reflecting both the risks and opportunities Pi faces as it navigates this pivotal month. While bullish forecasts capture headlines, there is a quieter yet far more unsettling reality that Pi holders cannot ignore. Data reveals that the volume of Pi tokens currently sitting on centralized exchanges has reached a staggering 440 million, the highest level on record. Even more alarming is the concentration of these holdings, with nearly half of that total parked on Gate.io alone. This level of accumulation on trading platforms poses a serious risk to price stability in the near term. Why does this matter so much? In the world of crypto, movements of coins from self-custody wallets to centralized exchanges are rarely neutral. More often than not, such activity is interpreted as a pre-sale signal. In simple terms, when tokens leave private wallets and flow into exchange accounts, it usually means holders are positioning themselves to liquidate. For a project like Pi, which is already facing the pressure of scheduled token unlocks, this behavior adds another layer of risk that could weigh heavily on the market. If these tokens begin to hit the order books in large quantities, September could bring more than just the expected supply increase from unlocks. Instead, the market may also have to absorb waves of sell-offs from existing exchange balances. This 1-2 punch, unlock-driven supply paired with exchange-driven liquidation, could flood the market with Pi at a scale demand may not be able to match. And in crypto, when supply consistently outweighs demand, the result is almost always a sustained downtrend in price. For bulls hoping to see Pi stabilize or climb, this looming overhang of exchange-held tokens represents a silent but significant threat. Unless new buying demand rises sharply to offset the potential wave of selling, the 440 million tokens currently sitting on exchanges could prove to be the biggest bearish factor in play for September. So, what's the bottom line for Pi Network this September? The month is shaping up as a tug-of-war between bullish optimism and bearish reality. On one side, protocol upgrades, user growth, and token 2049 hype could spark a rally. On the other, token unlocks and exchange inflows threaten to crush that momentum. Based on AI projections, the most realistic trading range for Pi this month looks to be between 30 cents and 50 cents, with only a slim chance of testing 75 cents. A surge to $1 is possible in theory, but without major catalysts, it's unlikely in the short term. If you're a Pi holder, buckle up. September could be the month that defines Pi's future direction, whether it's a breakout to higher highs or a painful correction to new lows. Either way, you won't want to take your eyes off this token.